All right. World Series 2-1. Dusty Baker. Who's pitching tonight, Joe? Is it Verlander and Nola? Because if this is
Christian
Verlander,
Javier and Nola.
Javier. That's right.
That's
you said
it.
that last night, Javier. And if Verlander game 5, boy, if that's 2-2, that will probably be the biggest game of Verlander's career. We talk about Kershaw
Good
so
question.
much. You see Verlander's World Series numbers?
Yeah, not good.
Oh, my God.
His World Series numbers aren't great, but his playoff numbers, like in the divisional,
they're really good.
good.
World Series, 5-0 lead in game 1. 5-0 lead in game 1.
Guy missed basically 2 years because of the shoulder, came back and had a historic season.
Might win the Cy Young.
I mean, I have a hard time. He's a scratch golfer and he's married to Kate Upton. He's living life large.
He's living life, but he needs that ring.
No doubt.
The World Series.
He's got the one.
But
Did he win the one
2017,
ring?
he was the trade in the middle of the year, I believe.
He got the one ring there. That's good.
I think it was close to 9 o'clock last night. Good morning, guys, by the way.
Good morning.
It was like
Good morning.
9 o'clock.
Good
And
morning.
say hi to Larry. Larry Krueger's here,
Good morning.
everybody.
Good
You
morning.
got to turn the mic on. Don't be new. Oh, no, they have to turn your mic
look
on.
at that.
Can Larry talk?
There it is.
Hey, now.
There's Larry.
Good to see you
anyway,
guys.
it was like 9 o'clock last night, and I was like, oh, yeah, World Series. And I'm like, oh, it's over. The one rain out, it's already football season / basketball season, and one rain out had me so discombobulated because of 2 nights off. I forgot. I forgot that they were playing.
Now I know you and I have argued about calendars when it comes to sports, and you don't want to be the less sports guy, and that's not what I'm trying to do.
No.
I'm trying to fish where there are the most amount of fish in the lake. Right now, everybody's into all the other sports. Baseball, November? Like, I know, I get it. You want to maximize. If they could find a way, and I know this is never going to happen. I know, they're not going backwards. But if I was them, I would try to set it up so where I can have the playoffs throughout the whole month of August, and my showcase, my September showcase, is the World Series, or at least the NLCS, ALCS.
You're still, it's not so much the month like it's November. To me, it's football. And football's here by September as well. Like, you can't get done before football starts, which is what would be ideal. Like, this rain out has set up where if there is a game 7,
it's going to be on a Sunday.
It's going to be up against Sunday Night Football, and it's going to get crushed. And tomorrow night,
who's playing Sunday Night Football?
I think it's Tennessee and Kansas City. Right?
That's
the
a good
Chiefs
game.
are playing. Yeah,
That's Mahomes.
And Malik Willis' first start?
no,
Derrick
He
Henry.
started this weekend.
He started last
Second,
weekend.
excuse me, second, thank you.
And then tomorrow night is going to be fascinating ratings because it's Philadelphia versus Houston, and Philadelphia versus Houston
on
Thursday Night Football.
But on Amazon Prime.
On Amazon Prime. But if you were if you're Houston, you're going to be more in on the World Series because you have the Texans.
Yeah.
But
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
if
Who
you're
wants to see the Texans?
if you're a Philly fan, what are you into tomorrow night?
Oh, come on. It's the Phillies.
Yeah.
Have you
It's
seen
the Phillies?
Yeah.
Your football
didn't figure
team
that
is
undefeated.
7-0.
I know, but have you
baseball
guys
team
seen the
and football
crowds
team. Football.
at Citizens Bank?
It's been
Oh,
insane.
Totally.
It is
Well, do you
crazy.
remember when the Giants were into the playoff run and there was a Thursday night game against Seattle for the 49ers, I believe in 2012? Was it 2012?
13-6 game when
Russell
Wilson first started at Candlestick.
And this
I
is
believe.
before I had an iPad, but we had the double screen thing going
unbelievable.
in the television. B remembers.
It's like walking in here and talking to 2 different Rain Men. It's absolutely. Do you remember a Thursday night game in 2012?
'Cause it was raining.
13-6.
I remember
We're
it.
playing Seattle.
It's because they're hardcore,
Bob
man.
Jablonski caught a touchdown pass.
Navarro-
I mean, like what?
Navarro Bowman had a great sack of Russell
Look at
Wilson.
you.
Remember he rolled out to the
Seriously.
right.
Look, it was
Bowman
around
just
like
beeline,
3:23 in the
boom.
third when he got the sack.
It's just.
It's a great game.
It's just you guys
That
all
was
need.
a hardball bus game. Remember
No.
he was parked in front of Seattle's bus and Earl Thomas took
That's
a circle
right.
stick off.
Don't look at me and
Oh,
say
this is
remember
hardball.
because the answer's no. Y'all need more kids. That's all it is.
Yeah, hardball's
Both
got
of
total
you,
issues.
you need more children.
No, I just
Stop
need one.
remembering
Mark
games
is
that were
expensive.
11 years
Mark,
ago.
did Dibbs miss today because of the referee botching at the end of that game last night?
I called him. I called him as
What
soon as
was
that
that?
game ended, and I
Seriously.
said, "You're off. You're out."
What was that?
Don't come in here and defend.
It's
the-
Steph Curry.
Yeah.
If it's LeBron James, it's never getting overturned. We all agree.
It's funny because Steve
I've
Kerr, Kerr came out and was just kind of like, "Yeah, I knew it was going to get overturned." And Steph, even though he ripped it
Really?
very tongue in cheek, where he was like, "It was an awful call," but he said it through a smile. But I mean, look, I don't know what the actual letter of the rule is if you do tip the ball first, which I wasn't even convinced that he did get the ball before he got the hand. But does that mean you're allowed to and I know this is unwritten.
I was going to say, you know how many Draymond texts where he's started, where he's like winding up, he gets a little ball, but gets a whole lot ahead?
Like Steph can't follow through before or after the block. The dude got hit. He got hit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a foul in the street yard. That's a foul in college. It's a foul in the pros.
Yeah. And
the worst is the 3 carries, though. The 3 carries. I mean, Poole gave him a look like, what? Really?
Chris Paul got called for one last night. So the NBA sent out an email yesterday. There was a memo saying they're going to crack down on it, which is the NBA is just Adam Silver's got to do some things here. He's dropping the ball on the Kyrie stuff. He dropped the ball on so many situations with the NBA. You sending this memo out 3 weeks into the season? Why not do this in the preseason?
It's so inconsistent because anybody who watched NBA ball for the last couple decades, post play was constant.
Yes.
Dribble, pass dribble option, dribble, pass dribble option. The ball comes to a rest every single time.
Watch
LeBron never called it.
Every crossover he's ever done, he's holding it.
Iverson would not be in the Hall of Fame if they called him.
Exactly. Iverson's career.
And I love Iverson, but it's just like you send a memo out after 7 games in a season. So now you're going to start cracking down. And Laura Holtkamp and Bill Kennedy are 2 referees who have no clue. No clue whatsoever. So now you got them with an added, we got to call the carrier today. Let's call some other things. Laura Holtman and Lauren Holtkamp and Bill Kennedy, they're just bad. So I'm glad Dibbs had the day off. He needs to know they're bad referees. There are bad referees that exist.
I love that
they're 2 of the worst.
I love that you got a box score in your hand.
I got to make sure. Because Lauren Holtkamp, I remember her from the San Antonio
next
game.
Level.
She was blowing the whistle and it was just like, what are you doing?
It's fascinating. The NBA usually does much better than this is baseball, usually that we're talking about when it comes to this, but it's fascinating to me when leagues seemingly do things to hurt their own product in the middle of a season. And here's what I mean by that.
Spider attack?
Well, right? Like, I'm not against, if you're going to say this is our rule.
The PI call in the NFL?
Well, okay, but here's an example, right? Like baseball. Oh, gosh, the ball's juiced. And Arizona, man, there's too many home runs. All right, let's just completely take the home run ball away from baseball, which is what it seemed like they were trying to do last year. You go to basketball. You have the conversation over the weekend about having a hard cap at the top of this, which they're going to call a warrior rule because checkbook championship. Yeah, good idea. Let's make sure no more Warriors happens.
Yeah,
because they're boring,
right?
And they're not good for your brand. What are you doing? What are you doing? And this felt like a low-key version of that. Like all of a sudden, 3 weeks into a season, we're going to make sure that the best players in the league can't do what they do anymore.
You know, Mark, the hard cap thing is interesting. We haven't had a chance to dive into it. Whatever you believe of David Sampson, he used to help run the Marlins, for a long time. Mm-hmm. He is very steadfast on this because he was one of the have-nots in terms of, payrolls and things like that. He's like, the salary cap doesn't exist to create a level playing field. The salary cap is strictly in place because there's about 10 owners in every single sport that don't want to spend a dime, and it's to put a threshold for the other 10 owners at the top of the league from overspending and keeping themselves from committing terrible, terrible crimes of handing out contracts that they're going to immediately regret.
So you're super serving the weak.
Exactly.
As opposed to propping up the strong and setting a bar that people need to reach instead of the other way.
And it's artificially keeping the salaries down as well, which is a whole players union thing.
That hard cap's never going to happen.
Of course not.
The Players Association laughed at that. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and OKC wants their welfare check, like the A's.
Owners are going to put stuff like that out there because then when they say no, that's like, okay, all right, we'll come down from there. Like what they're trying to do is set a negotiating stance and say, okay, fine, we'll give you that. And it's like, oh, we gave you one. No, you didn't. You know, and that's how teams relocate, by the way.
Yes.
That's how, watch this. This is what the A's are in the process of trying to do right now. I watched Dean Spanos do it with the San Diego Chargers. Okay, we'll try to make a ballpark here in San Diego. Here it is. It's state of the art. It's downtown. We're going to blow up your downtown. You're going to pay for it. All of this. And then when people are like, hell no.
It's not going to work?
Well,
we're out of here.
We tried.
Yeah, exactly. With a gondola.
It's like, come on.
Well, and the A's thing, this is the part that frustrates me for the community standpoint. How much money and time and energy, because time is money and all those things, are all these local politicians investing into an idea that we all know is never going to happen? It drives me nuts from a community standpoint.
Because at the end of the day, they won't admit it, but the real interest of the politicians Just don't have it happen on my watch.
Exactly.
Kick it down the road.
Exactly.
We'll just keep, we'll keep placating everybody.
Gavin Newsom with the Niners.
It'll be on somebody else's watch and it'll be on somebody else's record.
What do you guys think about the Brooklyn Nets situation?
Oh, man.
We did talk about that.
Amazing.
Not only, so KD has some tweets yesterday, some heavy crack up. So Steve Nash is probably thankful for being let go.
Oh, he's
parting ways.
TikToking right now.
We knew this Saturday when he said.
KD was shocked by it. Shocked by the news.
Said he woke up at
Shocked, I tell you.
1:15 and rolled over, saw it on SportsCenter, said he'd been thinking about it all day. Love coming to work with Steve, even though he wanted Steve out 2 months ago. But then they pivot. It was like, they will consider Ime Udoka. 20 minutes later, Ime Udoka's going to be our coach.
I know their interview process is super efficient.
Yeah.
It's really, really efficient.
They died last night in the fourth quarter as Levine just shot them out of it. I don't know if you guys caught any of Nets balls last night.
And was that
Levine
Ben
had a big
Simmons with a
fourth quarter.
sweater on the bench?
Yeah, he's got a knee issue now. Not only a back issue, he's got a knee issue as well.
Actually, when you see Ben Simmons not playing, that might be a reason to bet the Nets.
Yeah,
actually.
that's a good call.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
a good call.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
Friedel called them, I watched his little soundbite, the most dysfunctional team in sports.
They
or
are.
organization in
Well,
sports.
And Kyrie scored 4 points yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, he looked terrible, too. He was like yawning in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Keep rooting for him to lose. Maybe we'll get Friedel back covering the Warriors. I mean, are you really going to have somebody who's a dedicated ESPN reporter cruising around following an 11-win basketball
Yes,
team?
absolutely.
I mean,
He said, this is what he says, though.
circus.
Like, this is from ESPN standpoint. The Warriors are so good, because my wife asked him a very similar question.
Not right
that
now.
no one cares about the clicks, on like ESPN-wise.
Yeah.
They don't get to generate the clicks. The dysfunction in Brooklyn generates more clicks than anything else.
Isn't that that's such a beautiful thing, isn't it? Here we are, 2022.
It's disgusting.
Dysfunction rules over defending
Drama.
champions.
Yes.
that's the
Drama.
Running
NBA.
it back.
That's always been the NBA.
The transaction supersedes the action.
The NBA, they get their highest social media numbers in July when they're not even playing. It's
crazy.
because of free agency.
Well, 2019 year was perfect. Warriors are going for a three-peat. And all everybody talked about was KD leaving, Kawhi Leonard, where's he going to go after Toronto? And then the Paul George stuff happened. Like, that's all we talked about.
So
We don't
seriously.
talk about the games no more.
No, it's a
I'll go to talk about
fascination with the
games.
transactions.
Right. I can't stand it.
I wonder how this is, in a way, affecting the Warriors right now. Because this team looks drained to me. I'm not going to use tired. They've only played 8 basketball games. They look drained. And there's sort of a connection in a very different way to teams like the Nets and the Lakers, who I think are just so either distracted or don't care or overwhelmed by drama or misconstructed. All of that stuff is true for the Nets and Lakers. I don't think it's true for the Warriors. But in the NBA, look at the teams who have sort of been through something. The Warriors look right now, I don't know, it's not disinterested. It's just drained. They have been through, they play all the way through the end of June again. It really looked at that parade, if you think about it, like a lot of them checked their box. Like we were trying to do this without KD. Clay's like, I made it back, right? We checked our box, which doesn't mean they don't care this year. It just might be a little while before that motivation sort of rises again. And then you add in the Draymond thing in the preseason and what they had to go through there. They just look drained.
Well, that's
these other teams, it's like, it's October, woo, let's shoot. Like, they're just like, we're fresh. The Warriors just are like, man, they can't get the motor going.
Well, couple things, right? Couple things there. The Draymond situation definitely tinkered with the vibe.
Yeah.
The vibe we had before that coming out of Japan, where Wiseman and Kuminga's got the 2-man game coming along on the second unit. Poole, we know he's going to get paid. Everything felt good. We talked about the depth. Then the Draymond Green thing happened, right? So you got that situation. Then you got Klay Thompson, who didn't play 5-on-5 at all this summer, trying to work himself back. Now he's pressing to get back, trying to hit a home run, trying to hit a grand slam in one game. Steph Curry's the only one who's been consistent every single game. Steph Curry's been amazing. Wiggins looks hungry for the most part. Wiggins has been very, very good.
Yep.
I'd like to see more offense run for him. Keep going.
But he's been very, very good.
Yeah.
Poole, inconsistent. The young guys, they're not along. We thought they'd be farther along, right? James Wiseman's only played 47 games in his career, and he's just getting ripped to shreds. It's 47 games into his career. There's some good. There's a lot of bad. There's some good. injuries. So, and then also you're the champs. So when you go to Charlotte and you go to Detroit, guess what? It's a packed house.
You're getting
and it's
everybody's A
You're getting
game.
everybody's A
Yeah.
game. It's the
part
NBA
of
Finals
it.
for those teams. So now you're the hunted, and
Yeah,
half this
but-
team doesn't know what it's like to be hunted.
I mean, what's Detroit's A game? What the hell even is that?
Well, Cade Cunningham's one of
Cade
the
Cunningham's-
best prospects
it's great.
coming out.
If
in
you've
the
been
last-
watching
all
the
right.
Pistons,
He's
and
awesome.
And
get the
also-
Bucks
the
to the
Warriors,
break.
Warriors have Steph
Detroit-
Curry. I just
I know.
No, but
Detroit
they're-
can't
Cade's sick.
shoot, but they shot well in that game.
But let's not
Yes.
act like
Sadiq Bey's solid.
That's not new. That's
Isaiah
not new.
Stewart's solid.
The Warriors get everybody's best punch for 8 years now.
This group, it's new for this group.
Yeah.
Clay, Looney, Dre, Steph, they've been a part of that.
Poole.
Wiggins has never been hunted. Poole's never been hunted.
No.
Wiseman's never
I mean,
been hunted.
they won a
Kuminga's
championship.
never been
They
hunted.
just did this last year. You
It's
know what I mean?
hard
Like,
to
But I'm saying-
transition
but Mark,
between
I agree.
eras.
I agree.
without having a bump in the road.
right.
And also let's also give them something here. When you get up for June games, it's hard to get up for November games.
that's what I mean. I'm like, this is there's zero concern. None.
I don't have any.
None.
None?
Oh, I'm not.
Well, as far as
Here would be the concern.
None?
The concern would be more from a different perspective. This is not concern about where this is all going
Yeah.
or whether or not they're going to figure it out. This group is this group. Like, I don't have questions about the people who are running the show with the Golden State Warriors.
you don't want people fired.
No, yeah, not yet. Larry.
anybody
Not
who's
yet.
saying that is crazy.
If they get to 3-7,
Right.
Yeah, no, of course
We're
not.
not fired.
Point
Go hire
being
Mike
though,
Brown back.
like sort of what we were just talking about baseball. Like it's early November. You're wrapped right in the middle of the NFL season. A lot of people don't necessarily lock too far into the NBA until Christmas. The Warriors, as they got to the end of last year, their games, even regular season ones, were events. They were events, man. Like, you just sit down
For
and
sure.
watch this. They're not that right now. They're not. There's not like that, and maybe that's just because it's only 8 games in and because it's still football season. That would be the only concern. Is are you sort of like? Are you losing the shine of Golden State Warrior basketball, which is that every time you take the floor, this is a ticket, this is an event, this is something that I cannot miss, because they just don't look like that
Well,
right now.
I would throw like 6 different, like, not, again, these aren't make or break it's, but there's like things to. Father Time is going to always linger over any dynasty group, and whether it's Tom Brady, whether we're talking about a baseball team like the Giants, whether we're talking about the Golden State Warriors, like Steph. How much farther can he continue to be this version of Steph Curry? I don't know. Clay and Dre, are they depreciating slightly? A lot? Not at all? Are they stagnant? I'm not really sure. Can the young guys take another leap forward? You know, the whole trying to ease in, is it Wiseman or Kuminga? One of those guys feels like the odd man out. I do think the individual defense stinks right now.
Mm-hmm.
The chemistry kind of stinks right now. Shot selection is questionable. I think there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, no, there is a ton going on for sure. But is any of it going to prevent them from defending their title? I think I need to see a lot more.
I would
need to
agree
see a
there.
lot more.
I would agree
Like,
there.
Somebody was
I would
like,
agree
man, they might be a play-in team. I said, dude, pump the brakes. Like, we're 8 games in.
Well, nobody
Pump the
thinks
brakes.
again. You look at the standings. No one thinks Utah and Phoenix. I'm
Right.
assuming Utah and Portland are the 2 top, or Utah are these great teams. No, but like at some point they got to get some wins.
Well,
I guess is where I'm going.
Because,
You know?
okay, do I think Portland and Utah are going to be in the top
No.
3? No, but do I already think, well, they're definitely better than we thought they were going to be? You don't come out of the gates 5-1. And by some sort of rare accident, Utah is undefeated at home. They won again. They're 6-2. Like, we had those teams out the playoffs, and you don't need to be very good to make the playoffs
but
in the
what you
NBA.
just said, Mark, maybe teams are going to Utah saying, "I suggest."
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's
Maybe.
part of
Like,
it.
you know,
People
maybe-
can't even name 3 of their
Right,
starters.
exactly.
I think the Warriors do have a fundamental problem, though, that we'll get into in this this show.
I mean-
because there's one thing about their game that ain't going to change, and it's alarming. So we'll get into
Three-point
that.
shooting.
I think it's the everything that GP2 did for them last year, as far as he got buckets inside. He's a great defensive player.
Ball pressure,
He did
94 feet.
Yeah, exactly. All the dirty work. They're missing that. They're missing that player.
It's a good point.
And also, I think he's so quick to loose balls and so good on the glass that he compensated for the fact that Looney, Clay, everybody in the lineup outside of maybe Steph and Wiggins from time to time are kind of slow. They don't rebound great.
Athleticism.
Steph's their best rebounder.
So
and their
that's the thing.
athleticism
Yeah, but like
to
last
loose
night
balls
was
is
athleticism.
subpar.
Detroit's athletic. Orlando's athletic.
Yeah, but last night,
New Orleans is
GP2,
athletic.
it's a whatever, tie game, 107-107. Who's GP2 coming in for last night? Who's he guarding last night?
I'm
just using that as an example.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not even saying that I have an answer for that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that over the course of the entire NBA game,
That's fair.
This guy scores inside. He defends. He's athletic as hell. He was quick to loose balls, quick to the glass. I'm looking at Draymond, not quick. Clay's lost quickness. They're not Looney's not quick.
No.
Yeah.
They are not quick to loose balls. They're not quick up on the boards. I think it hurts.
Moody's dived for, I think, 2 balls early this season.
Moody hustles, and he did that last year. He gives you a little bit of that
wanna see
element
him play
from
more.
GP2.
That's
and I
me.
thought, my opinion was Moody should have been playing down the stretch over Jordan Poole last night. He had a better feel for that game. Jordan Poole got in his head with the carry calls. He was 1 for 7 from the 3-point line.
Last night wasn't his night.
last night down the stretch, when they inserted Wiggins back in the game, I said, okay, maybe Wiggins comes in for Poole and you play Moody because he had a shot going. He was playing solid defense. I didn't think that was the game for Jordan Poole. I didn't down the stretch. But you scored 2 points over the last 5 on 3. You got to get buckets.
The other guy
that's
they
a big
miss is
part of it.
Porter. I mean, Porter Jr. was a tough rebounder for them. I know he had a couple of months that stunk. The beginning of the year and the end of the year, he finished and he stretched the floor because he could knock down shots, and he was a smart player who played within the fabric of the offense.
It's wild, though. Like, I agree with everything you guys are saying, and then on the other hand, I'm like, so now we're saying they don't have enough to beat Detroit and Charlotte?
I don't think it's that. I think they're just trying to find themselves. I mean, Wiseman to me is hugely disappointing. The hands, the feel, the rebounding, it's just not there.
Defensive awareness.
You can say how many games in, but I can say this is year 3. I don't know.
But Larry, though, I want to say that because I agree. Wiseman has been very disappointing defensively. Rebounding, blocking shots, contesting. Thought he was better than third quarter. But we act like, it's year 3. But we act like the last year and a half he didn't spend it rehabbing.
Right.
No,
right.
You're right. You're right. He's inexperienced.
And you never know when guys are going to pop. Like, for me, Jordan Poole is going to be the example we get to use now over and over and over for years to come. Every time somebody wants to write someone off, 40 games into their career, 80 games into their career. Jordan Poole was in year 3, and all of a sudden we're like, whoa, where the hell did this come from? He was in Santa Cruz a second ago.
And he can't defend.
Well,
currently.
Okay.
And I love him.
Yeah, I get that. He's still growing. He's still a young player, but he obviously has got some things in his game that we didn't see coming. But I'll Stephen A. Smith it here. You better be careful.
You underpaid?
You got to be careful. Well, yes, but anyway, you better be careful because if you look back at the beginning of last year, that win streak is really what buoyed them into the seed that they had. Yeah. And I know it's only 10% of the way through the season, but if you get too far behind, you do have to scramble. I'm looking at Utah right now, who we want to flick off and be like, yeah, it's not real. Do you know who their 6 wins are against? They got 1 against Houston. Listen to these other 5 wins. They beat Denver. They won at Minnesota. They won at New Orleans. They beat the Grizzlies twice. This is not because of a soft schedule. They are clearly better than we thought they were going to be. And that's true for Portland as well. And so the West, we already knew was
What about
loaded.
San Antonio?
5-2. Yeah, 5-2.
Popovich's greatest season ever.
OKC. Oklahoma City's 4-3.
You're gonna
These teams are all going to be in the lottery.
I mean,
maybe.
Here's the other thing,
I don't know about
too.
Portland, but the other teams.
I've been ripped for saying this. As long as I have Steph Curry on my team, I don't care if the Warriors are the 6th seed. I don't care.
I don't care either.
Because they're going to split the first 2 games, and they're going to win every single game at Chase Center and take away home court advantage.
The priority should not be about the seed. The priority should be about health and
form. Form. Are you playing good ball? That's the number one thing.
Where's Wiseman going to be at by then? Where's Kuminga going to be at by then? Heck, where are they going to be at by February before the deadline? Because does Bob Myers and Mike Dunleavy Jr., Joe Lacob say, these young guys aren't cutting it. We have no minutes for Kuminga. Wiseman Jr., you know what? Maybe we whiffed on this. Maybe we'll go and explore something and get somebody in here for the stretch run.
Backup point
I don't
guard.
know. We're not there yet.
No.
You're not Ty Jerome, man?
Look, he hit the 3, and that was a big shot, and then he YOLO'd the next one, and I was like, Dog, read the room. You're the fourth best player. Fifth best player.
Steph 3.
I couldn't believe that shot.
Yeah.
Was that just me, Larry?
I was like,
and he hit the one. I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Right.
Sub this guy
I
out.
couldn't believe it. That was like
Home
the
court
heat
advantage though
check.
for this team. I'm not just finishing the top six.
No, I don't.
Seriously, it's about flow.
I don't care about that. And again, the concern for me is almost less about basketball, and it's just kind of like it's just reading body language,
Personal dynamics.
They look drained. And look, tomorrow night. I mean, what are we going to say now? Are we going to get hey, they've got Pablo Banchero. Like, they're 1-7. They're awful.
Hey,
the
Pablo's
Warriors.
good.
Yeah, the
Orlando's
Warriors.
been in some games, man.
Is Suggs
Just like you
healthy?
say Detroit's awful. Bucks beat them by 2 the other night. Kate Cunningham looks special.
Okay.
Don't forget Franz
Detroit-
Wagner.
I like
He's a
Wagner,
good
though.
player.
Franz
I like
Wagner.
him.
Bumble
and his
13
brother.
12
I'm
last
literally
night. 4
looking
blocks.
at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and it's filled with teams who already have wins over the Warriors. So, and Orlando is literally the worst record in
They're
the
terrible.
entire NBA. So, come on, man. Come on.
They're terrible, but they've been
Come
in
on.
basketball games, Mark.
Well,
Will
yes,
Rick Barry
that's
be
the
at that
games.
game?
That's the NBA.
It took Boston
Everybody's
down. I
in
know,
games.
but hey,
that's the NBA.
This Warriors
You gotta
team
win
cannot
some.
this team cannot take Orlando as a joke right now. When
Well,
you
of
lose
course
it back
not.
to Charlotte
I'm
and
not
Detroit,
calling it a joke. I'm saying
happens.
it's a
And-
joke if we blow it off like, wow,
I guarantee you-
Orlando's got a good player.
what is Orlando Stadium called? The Amway Center or something like that?
No, I have no
Baby's
clue.
gonna be packed tomorrow.
Yep.
They're gonna be ready to
Yep.
roll tomorrow. That fan base is gonna be fired up.
So
As
just-
somebody who bets a lot, I would say when I look at the Warriors right now, I look at it, I look at all the
It's
factors,
a
and
nope.
then I just say, you
It's
know what?
nope.
Maybe a stay away.
Stay away.
I'm
Stay
so
away.
with you. I went in there and I saw Charlotte plus 10 last week, and I go, that's easy money. I go, but I'm not betting against the
No,
Warriors because
money,
I don't
no.
want to sit down and do that.
just stay
Well,
away.
there's
My
no
guy
way.
Jimmy in Seattle tweets me all the time, and he's like, "Yo, there's hella money coming in on the Hornets. This is like at 12 o'clock. There's hella money coming in on the
Plus
Hornets.
10.
We know his
I was
gamblers.
like-
Stay away.
Yeah.
Something's fishy here."
Like plus 10. I go, they're giving up $1.25 to everybody. What are you saying? The Warriors are going to score 140?
Seriously.
I go, come on. So it's starting to normalize. What was the number yesterday? He was like a 1-point favorite.
1.5 point
Yeah.
favorite, but the money flipped
covered,
overnight.
And covered.
Yeah.
The money flipped overnight. Warriors are favored.
jeez.
It flipped.
They'll get it going.
Lastly,
but
before we get out of here,
Yeah,
NFL trade deadline.
that was about as good as it gets. I mean, that
I
was a
thought
lot.
the Falcons getting or the Jags getting Calvin Ridley for Trevor Lawrence down the road is probably the most impactful move of yesterday.
That was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's not gambling anymore,
Right.
you know.
Bradley Chubb to Miami. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Mahomes or Josh Allen, I'm thinking, wow. I mean, now they got somebody to chase me down.
And the Dolphins and 49ers are just so interesting because of their connection, obviously. I mean, the Jeff Wilson thing, I do want a lot of people to know this was not just about, and I thought it was a great move from a business standpoint. Take an undrafted free agent, get a bunch of years out of him. Now he's going to be a third-string player, turn him into a fifth-round pick. But also, there's another side to this. I really believe that they were doing Jeff a solid. Jeff was not going to play here.
Yeah, but for a
unless there was
second, can
injury.
I just bring something up?
I think he wanted this.
Yeah, I get that.
And so now
who the hell does Jeff Wilson think he is, though?
What do you
he
mean?
went to John Lynch apparently the week before. He admitted and said, like, I'm worried about my touches. Like, dog, you were the backup heading into this year to a 6th-round pick, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, like, I'm not trying to. I like Jeff Wilson Jr. Who does he think he is?
I'll say this for Jeff Wilson: he's got a lot of respect in the room.
Yep.
From
Okay.
the other guys. I mean, they really do.
And you know, this is just me. I have a hard time ever asking athletes to tamp down their ego because what it takes to do what they do,
Mark,
what
that's
it takes
so
to-
yes.
But what it takes to succeed, you have to think ridiculous things about yourself.
I'm not going to rip
You
him.
have to.
I can't rip him because I remember the Arizona game where he caught the Texas route for a touchdown. They beat Arizona coming back 16-0. I remember the Patriots game where he had 3 rushing touchdowns and ran the ball hard. He started running the ball hard this season. I looked at the trade and I said, okay, I get it. I agree with everything you say. I hear what you're saying, Shasky, but the depth in the running back room, can I count on Elijah Mitchell to be healthy? Do we know about TDP? Is Ty Davis-Price any good?
I think
Jordan
this
Mason,
is-
why is he not on the field? Because Shanahan has proven he's not afraid to throw anybody back there in the backfield. Why haven't they touched the field?
There's 49er fan PTSD, which is totally fair, that we're this worried about the third string running back.
That's all I was
Because
saying.
it's like
I kinda look at
we're assuming we're going to get there because we're assuming
Exactly,
that Christian McCaffrey and Eli Mitchell are going to
You guys saw
Hopefully
the Moneyball.
they won't get hurt.
You guys saw Moneyball where
Hatterberg.
Hey, I'm gonna you can't play Hatterberg tonight, or you can't play Pena tonight. Well, I am playing Pena tonight. No, you can't play him tonight. He's in Detroit. There might be a little bit of that going on as well, because the Shanahan was going to play Jeff Wilson,
right?
And Lynch is invested in TDP, and he's invested in Jordan Mason. I just think that what was going to get more Niner fans up in arms? They traded Jeff Wilson for a fifth, or that they cut Jordan Mason next week for nothing.
That's
and those were the choices.
That's interesting.
I've never even seen Jordan Mason other than the special teams. It's like, can the guy? This is my bigger.
Had one run.
Can I get a touch?
I think,
blowout game, and McCaffrey's getting touches, and I'm like, get him off the field. I was like screaming.
But it's also been 6 weeks, so we've just forgotten that Eli Mitchell was the running back on this team.
He led the NFL in 20-plus yard runs last year, which is a crazy stat.
Eli's really good.
Jeff Wilson has 9 career fumbles, I think. Yeah. Eli Mitchell, I think, fumbled once.
How many career yards? 1,500, 1,600 for Jeff Wilson?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
it's not a lot.
Not a lot.
That's
it's not
all.
a big outrage. I'm like,
whatever.
It's
fine.
I
and
get
good
it.
for him. Like, he'll go be with McDaniel. He'll back up. They got rid of Chase Edmonds.
They got
so
Mostert.
he's going to back up Raheem Mostert. It's the 49ers' old backfield from a couple years ago, and they'll do really well. That's an exciting offense.
Yeah.
And now they got Bradley Chubb. Like, man, they're coming for Buffalo. It's an interesting team.
I saw a photo for Halloween where it was photoshopped, and it was Mike McDaniel wearing a barista outfit, and I can't unsee it now.
More coming up. Willard and Larry Krueger in the building. They'll talk some Dubs, some Niners, and a little bit of baseball here on 95.7 The Game.